Hi, welcome to Bipolar Mindfulness. My name is Ash. Here we normally talk about two things: one, having a mental health condition, and two, cultivating mindfulness. Today, we're going to be focusing on panic. So, my first real experience with panic was on 9/11. I had been in New York for 3 weeks. I was a freshman at NYU. And on that morning, I had calculus class at 9 a.m. So I'm in class, and this is before smartphones and information every second. We had no idea that anything had happened. The professor had no idea. And what started as kind of a murmur amongst the students quickly became just this mild roar. And he didn't know what was going on, but he said, guys, we need to call class. Let's just call it for today. And so I stepped out onto the street. And there were 10 million people who had flooded out of the buildings they were in, who were fleeing from downtown. I was only about 30 blocks away, and I had 14 blocks to go to my apartment. And you couldn't get through the people. I have not, again, experienced that level of panic. So, let's fast forward to now, where panic is taking over the globe again. We all know why. And this has brought up all of those emotions again. But now, 20 years later, as I'm learning about how to be mindful and how to find peace in the middle of everything that's going on, I learned about panic from life, and then I started doing some research. So let's talk about what I've learned. Okay, I want to get this definition right, so I'm going to read it out. The word panic is defined as a sudden, uncontrollable fear or anxiety, often causing wildly unthinking behavior. So you've got two parts there. You've got the panic. It's sudden. It's uncontrollable. This is a primitive response. This is an animalistic response. We cannot control the cause of the panic. When it comes on, and we are going to have panic. We can't stop it. It's okay to have it. It's the second part where it causes wildly uncontrolled behavior. That's where we're concerned. That's why everybody's stocking up on all kinds of supplies. Not that that's not a smart idea, but some of what's happening is just this build and build and build of the panic. I don't know that I'm so much worried about contracting the virus as I am that there won't be any water or toilet paper or food, because we're all panicking so much that we're buying all that stuff up. So we talk about mindfulness, and that has absolutely played a critical role in how I'm handling everything. Today I was at the grocery store, and this particular larger grocery store is still running on generators because of the tornadoes from last week. So there were some lights on, enough where you could shop, and all of a sudden, everything went black. The doors automatically shut and locked. Everything was pitch black. There was panic. It was a sudden, uncontrollable feeling of fear and anxiety. This is a response, a human response to a fear of mortal danger. It serves us well. But I wasn't in mortal danger. I was in a grocery store that had a blackout. And one thing I love about mindfulness is that sometimes I can say, let's take a beat. Let's take a breath. And then sometimes when an event happens, a sudden, unexpected event, my mind gives me a huge favor. It shuts up. Mindfulness just happens. The lights went out and my mind went completely blank. I didn't think, oh, I need to scream, or, oh, I need to drop these groceries, or it just went blank. And then that happened. I was aware that I had just exhaled. Okay. I wasn't thinking, hey, breathe. I was just breathing. Thank goodness my body doesn't require me to remember to breathe. It just does it. So when my mind went blank, I didn't think about what I needed to do, but my body just kept breathing. And all of a sudden, that huge spike in adrenaline and cortisol, the fight or flight response, it went down a little bit. So I did it again. And I felt my shoulders drop. Still no thoughts at all. So I did it again. And all of a sudden, my mind started back up. But instead of doing what panic makes us do, if we don't appreciate that split second where the mind does stop and we can just breathe. My mind said, this is working. Why don't we keep breathing? So here's what we know about panic. Panic is an emotional response. Panic is a real emotional response, but panic itself is not a real thing. It's just an emotion. And we are behaving in very dangerous ways as a response to the emotion that is panic. And I am in no way trying to sound like an authority or an expert. Oh, guys, I am struggling as much as anyone. All I can say is that when I was in 9/11, I didn't know about mindfulness. I wasn't aware that I was breathing. It was just an automatic thing that my body did. Now, I know that there is a split second between the sudden panic response and when the mind starts to behave in unthinkable, reactive, dangerous ways. It's where the mind stops. And if we can catch it, we become aware that we're breathing. And if we can just keep breathing, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't seem to be able to come to a consensus about what to do as a race, as a human race. But one thing we do automatically, without thinking about it at all, our heart beats and we breathe. So if we can just be aware that we're breathing, and then just kind of sink into that and choose to consciously breathe, to choose to breathe, not just let it be an automatic bodily function, but a choice. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to scream. I'm going to stop where I am and breathe. We're in this together, guys. Let's keep breathing. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.